Welcome. Huddletime episode number 10. Today is September the 11th, 2017. Let's go. All right, we're going to have a quick moment of silence for the 9/11. Very tragic incident. So we're just going to have a quick moment of silence for them. All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining and watching. Today we have a special guest, my wife. My love.
I'm special.
Indeed. Today we're going to talk about how to keep a fresh marriage. Now, the reason why we kind of came up with this topic to talk about is because we're young. People kind of ask us. We see a lot of, let's just be real, we see a lot of other people who are much older than us, and they may not make it. They're going through hard times and stuff of that nature. So one thing that was taught to us by a pastor before we got married was 3 key things. And they're right here. It's all about communication, affection, and money. And that all starts with you, as you can see. How to keep a fresh marriage. Let's get started. Siobhan, how are you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic.
I'm doing fantastic as you texting on your phone. Alrighty, so that just shows you how comfortable she is. She got this in the bag. All right, communication. How valuable is communication in a marriage?
It is extremely valuable because, as we discussed prior, if something is affecting you in your marriage, and it's just kind of like a key pointer, if something affects you in your marriage and you fail to communicate it, then you can't expect your spouse to respect it or cater to a certain scenario if they're not aware because of a lack of communication.
Right.
So let's say something is bothering you and you don't say it.
Right.
Okay, you may not feel like you're being loved or being respected, but your partner doesn't know that because you never communicated it, and then it becomes a crazy cycle.
Yeah, I like that crazy cycle point. So pretty much what we're learning in our marriage is me. I'm more focused. I'm more strategic. I'm more hey, let's go. And Siobhan is a more hey. Well, at one point in our marriage, she wasn't explaining to me what it is that was on her mind, what she had difficulty with in our marriage. And it was more, would you say it was more of this, I want him to assume what is kind of going on, or he can tell by my attitude, hopefully?
No, I think it was when you put expectations on someone, you kind of expect that they already know you, so they know what affects you.
Good point. That person don't even know your expectation. And so early on in our marriage, we had to hash it out and understand what it is that we need from each other. Not argue or nothing, but just, hey, look, did you notice? And I'd be like, no. There was a bit of assumption going on, expectations that I didn't know that she had for me. So we just had to communicate and just discuss, hey, when this is happening, you should react in this way, or, be more sensitive to the actual subject. I feel like I'm on a rabbit trail. What do you think? Did I make perfect sense there?
No, you made sense. All
right, good. So my thing is just talk to me. And so if she's in that mode, if I see trends of her being in that mode of, hey, be sensitive with me in this moment, or, hey, you don't see the obvious through my body language, and things of that nature. So I have this little thing where you'll see in a different slide here, but I'll jump into it real quickly. It's just asking. Hey, is everything okay with me? Is there anything that I need to fix and, take care of? Because I think the day-to-day is more important. If you look at it day-to-day, then your years will automatically be okay. What you think?
Yep.
Your years together will automatically be okay.
Take care of the small things.
And a few things that we have brought up is don't be defensive. When it comes to communication, if she's being open with you, don't be in a mode of just trying to defend yourself. She may say something that was offensive. I know that I get that way a lot because I think that I'm somewhat on the right track all the time, and that's not true. In a marriage, it's 2 people constantly growing separate ways, and we're growing. So of course you have to grow together. It's like a braid at the end. I'm always looking at Siobhan when she's braiding a braid at the end. Sometimes it can come detangled. But if you don't keep that thing fresh and knitted, like by asking, going back to the marriage, by asking, hey, am I good? And braid it back and keep it fresh looking, then it'll get out of whack. So you always want to keep your marriage intact in one special way, one of the 3, is definitely through communication. You want to express your concerns. You know, have I offended you in any way? Sometimes we do things that we don't even know that we offended our spouse. You know, it could be down talking when you thought that she was mature enough or strong enough, or when you thought he was strong enough or mature enough to take a joke that was in a mix of a family or gathering or something to that nature. One thing that I like to do is something simple, something small. When I'm away from work, I send her "I love you" text messages. That is a form of communication. It kind of reminds them that you're thinking about them. So that's
When you're away at work.
when I'm away at work. You know, you send a text message just like, "Hey, I'm thinking about you," and be sincere about it. Don't set an alarm. Don't you know what I mean? Don't set an alarm and be insincere.
Don't be a robot.
You know, if she notices that it always comes in at a certain time, then you're gonna probably have a problem. How do you
Unless
feel?
you're clever and set your alarm at different times.
Yeah, exactly. So, what do you think about those quick text messages? What do they do for you? They pretty corny or are they pretty special? What you think?
No, they're nice.
They're nice.
It keeps me knowing that you are thinking about me,
There
and
you
that
go.
is a plus.
There you go. There you go. I have "don't assume" here. So that goes to the part of just don't assume that everything is going okay. Man, I think I've had the brick wall with this one. I've run into this situation where I literally thought that we was having a perfect marriage. Everything that I was doing, the decisions I was making, and the communication, every other thing was just on point. It was perfect, and was not the case. So don't assume. You want certain things done. All right, the expectations, setting the proper expectations within your spouse. Like you say, ask questions and see how I can improve. I'm just going down the list here, and you want certain things done. Well, I've got the same thing on there. All right, so but one key thing here is don't carry around unforgiveness. That's super important.
Oh, you can't bear malice in your heart.
That's
You
it.
definitely can't. Because as much as it is your spouse and you love them to death, when you don't forgive someone, be it your spouse or whoever, you attach their sins and the sins of everyone else that they haven't forgiven to your back. And what a burden that is to carry. And in a marriage, we don't need extra weight.
That's it. That's it. This is a long haul. This is for long term. So you just got to look at it like that. You know, how can we be fresh all the time? How can we be on point at all times?
And
not just
nobody's saying it's just peaches and cream all
Right.
the time.
No.
But
No.
you do your best to keep things going.
That's indeed. Speaking of do your best, affection. Affection is super important. Yes, it deals with, with behind closed doors and things of that nature, but it's very and highly important to show that you love them. By, I mean, and how do I want to say it? Like both ways.
Vice versa.
Vice versa.
Mm-hmm.
She to him and him to her, because, man, I'm telling you, it goes back to the expectations piece.
You don't want your spouse feeling like they're inadequate or they're not enough.
Super important.
You definitely don't want anyone feeling like that. That transmits the wrong message. You
Super
could
important.
love your spouse to death and show very little affection, and that comes across like, I don't think she really wants me.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
that's not the case.
When you leave the house, give her a kiss. Not one of the quick kiss, like, kiss. Let her know, man, I really do love you. Me and Siobhan, what we do is she has a show that we like to watch, and we just sit down and chill. And that is not in my nature all the time. I don't like being stable. I like to be productive and things of that nature. But I had to change my ways. I had to communicate with my wife. She communicated back to me that she likes for me to hang out with her, to watch these particular shows, and we just cuddle and chill. It's quality time. And so as a man, he's like, go, 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 go. How can I afford this? How can I afford that? How can I take care of this situation, this matter, put out that fire, and so forth? Or what do we need to do in the future? Sometimes we just need to chill, relax, show your affection in your marriage by just relaxing with your wife. What's your thoughts?
I agree. I couldn't agree more.
Good, good. So be thoughtful. Birthdays, holidays, and things of that nature. I have an awesome wife, and she understands where I come from. And so when it comes to being thoughtful, I'm a little bit different, and things of that nature. So, but the thought is there, that you were thinking of me, that you considered me, and so forth. Why do I have at least 2 things on here twice?
It's
Ain't that
okay.
crazy? It says you have to have a date night each. You have to date each
You're
other.
perfectly imperfect.
Indeed. So this, I remember this being one of your points. You have to date each other. Let's talk a little bit about that when it comes to affection in a marriage.
Dating each other is necessary, I feel, because in a marriage, it's not that you get bored, but you can get so comfortable to where the day to day just consumes you, and you're caught up in it. You're so focused on kids, house, making money,
family,
making sure dinner is on the table, that
future.
Type of thing.
Yeah.
That you don't have time for each other specifically during the day.
Right.
Outdoors, you know what I mean? Just keeping that flame burning. You lose track of that, and sometimes those small things, like I said before, is what's really important in a marriage.
Yeah, like the little walk in the nice park that you like, and don't get overwhelmed. I think the last statement we want to make when it comes to affection is don't get overwhelmed with things to where it interrupts or disrupt your affection to your spouse. Alrighty, so now let's talk about the cha-ching money. Money, I think. What's your thoughts? Because I think money is the number one thing. That and communication is the number one thing that destroys our friends' marriage and possibly any marriage. I mean,
yeah, money is huge. I think it can really be a dividing factor in a relationship. But that goes back to communicating. And if you're not communicating with your spouse about decisions you make to spend money or financial decisions you make that's going to affect the family, things like everything in a marriage, when you have a home to take care of, money affects everyone.
People.
It's not just you in that moment. I don't care. Sometimes it's a pair of shoes, and I'm not saying you can't treat yourself, but I am saying that budget. Right. When you're going to make a financial decision, just make sure it's the best thing for everybody. I hear so many people say, oh, I have a separate account because I can't trust him with money, or I can't trust her with money, or my money goes here and his money goes there. When you're in a marriage, you're one. Yeah. So it's our money.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I think that goes back to the communication. I think a lot of what the thing that people get divorces over should have been discussed in groundbreaking questions in the beginning. You know what I mean?
You have to be open and willing to that. You can't put up that defense mechanism, like you said. And if both parties are not willing, then you're spinning your wheels. Yeah.
You always got to know where you're headed. Dang, I had a good point about, just getting the clarity up front between the two.
You made it.
All right. And then, having separate accounts. I think if you have a separate account so that the other spouse don't know you have money, because that money is going to be spent on her or the family for special times, and you don't want to see where the transactions are located and stuff. This is one of my crazy reasons. But you can always go to the bank and just say, give me that amount of money. And go and get it cash
and everyone's happy.
You know what I mean? Without it saying Michael Kors on the transaction or whatever store you shopping at on the bank statements and things of that nature, so she won't find out. Surprises are cool. I think that was the only reason why I wanted to have a separate account. But in the end, you can always go to the bank and just say, hey, let me have this amount of money I need to spend on my wife or whatever. And then later, after you've given her the gift, you can just say that was the money that I used to get this. You know what I mean? That's the only legitimate reason. But I think I don't want to get in your life. But when it comes to opening up a separate account, Siobhan, what you think? It says that I really don't trust you.
Everyone has their reason for doing, and because I don't want to cast judgment.
Yeah.
Everyone has specific reasons for why they do specific things.
Right.
I'm just saying, in our marriage, for me as an individual to my spouse, what it would communicate to me is that I have something.
Other plans.
Right. I have other plans, or there's something I don't want you to be a part of or aware of. And
that's just loss of communication.
Yeah, that's hard for me. I'm not open to that.
Right. So it can lead to overwhelming stress. That's straight up.
Unnecessary
stress. Show your appreciation with your money by giving gifts and things of that nature. Now, one key thing in a community, in a family, is to actually discuss and create a budget. Don't just make your paycheck, living paycheck to paycheck. First of all, we just went through Hurricane Harvey, so we understand having the idea, the luxury of having backup money. Now, one key thing, real quick, is to have 80% just going towards bills, livelihood, and so forth. 10% going to your savings, and 10% going to your church or just giving. And that's the general rule just that I've heard since I was 17. 80, 10, 10. Savings, giving to your church, or and self 10-10, then 80% can be utilized for whatever you desire for it to be utilized. And then another quick thing, don't make impulsive decisions with your money. That goes back to the communication part.
It affects everyone.
I try to make it a huge habit. If there's a certain amount of money that we don't spend often, hey Siobhan, I wanted to do this. What's your word? What you think? Yes or no? She's my wife. We're a partnership. I can't bully her with the checking account and vice versa. So we have to keep that open line of communication. Always research. Improve your money skills. See what is out there. Some cool way to make extra money. And that may be your 10, selling things on eBay, whatever the case, or doing hair. I don't know. But money, affection, and communication are the top 3 things to keep a fresh marriage. And it's highly important. And my wife has something to tell me. What?
I just said they couldn't see you because you put up the 3 to the screen.
Oh yeah, 3 to the screen, baby. This is I'm in the zone. But those are the top 3 things that can definitely damage a marriage, offset a marriage, and just simply destroy one. So real quick, next slide. What is the question of the day? Or statement. Now I already have them primed up and ready to go. Ask your spouse, is there anything that I can improve on? How valuable has this been? I'm going to put your business out there. I'm the only one asking this question. I'm the only one asking this question.
It's valuable because there might be something that you've been wanting to express or that you've been holding back. Right. And that's the time to go ahead and speak up. Right. I mean, what better opportunity than that?
Yeah. I mean, I think that this little thing, this simple, how many words is that? 8 words question has really, be quiet, Caleb, has really has really opened up our marriage. It has shed some light on some areas in my behavior and actions across those 3 topics we just discussed, and really shed light on it, man. Because like I said, I think that all is well. That's me assuming and things of that nature. But man, you'd be surprised on what your spouse has to say about certain actions that he or she doesn't like. And just simply asking this question to them will definitely get you through something. Is there anything that I can improve on? Statement of the day. I want you to read that.
Never talk about or use the word divorce if you care about your marriage.
Now, how did this rule start up in our family? Like, it was just one of those, nah, we don't even say it. What do we normally say? The D word.
Right. We don't. But I think it's because we got married at what most would consider a young age. And there were so many around us that were making impressions on us. Yeah, and
there was some.
It was just easy to throw that word around. Yeah. And I think earlier on we made the decision, or we agreed that that's just a word we don't want to use lightly.
Right. And one thing that we had at that, beginning stage of our marriage is what you think about, what you give birth to manifests.
Right.
So if you talk about the D word often and it's a little seed and it's just being discussed and so forth, it grows. It can grow and have an effect on your marriage. Yeah. So it's like,
and by no means are we perfect. By no means are we trying to paint the perfect picture for anyone. These are just some things that we've experienced. There are days or times I should say, where we didn't like each other, or it's just like, today is not the day. Yeah. I don't want to hear it.
Give me a break, dog.
You know what I mean? But that's just, it's never enough to say the D word.
Yeah. Know that your marriage is super valuable. Make sure that you Keep is worth valuable. Find ways to improve your marriage. Never use the D word to reflect that you're serious within an argument. Man, so many people just, I don't think they understand the true impact of using the, divorce in an argument. I can't stand you, and I want to leave you. I want a divorce, and they're really not serious about it, but they use it so casually that it probably will eventually get there.
Sometimes it's in a playful manner. Sometimes it is, but like I said, different scenarios and different strokes for different folks. Yeah. But it's just something we don't like to throw around.
Always be in a marriage improvement mode. And even if you are considering, this is talking for those who are having a tough time right now, because we know you're out there, understand that, think about the kids. These are 3 things that really are important to me. Think about the kids if you have them. Think about all the resources in which you have to split in half if you have them. And is it a rushed decision? And how serious is the reason as to why you want that divorce? Now, I understand. I'm not a fan of divorce, but there are some legitimate reasons to divorce a person. If he's hitting you, if she's hitting you, or every day, then that doesn't seem too healthy. If they're not even with you because they don't like,
if you just can't seem to get on the same page about your marriage, about your life, period. Some situations are just unhealthy. It doesn't even have to be physical. It doesn't even have to get to that point. Some people just grow apart naturally, and we are not oblivious to that.
Yeah, that's where communication, affection.
If it's gone that far and it's at the point of no return, I say do what's best for you, but I don't promote it or encourage it.
Yeah, we definitely have different views on that. Alrighty, guys. I really do appreciate you for watching this video. Thank you so much. My wife did an awesome job today. Woo! Kayla, give it up for mommy. Know that you are the best mommy. Alrighty, guys. You got anything to say, Kayla?
Thank you for watching.
That's it. Look, there goes Daddy's logo. What did it say?
Huddletime. Spend time doing what matters.
That's important. How important is this? Jesus Christ.
Very.
All right, one word that comes to your head. First word to come to your head. Go.
Chibi bada BD.
It's not a word.
Always says that. That's crazy. Thank you, Kayla.
Well, you can say any silly word.
No, I said the first word that come to your head.
No, when we were coming out with it.
Oh, okay. Cool. Yeah. Be creative. Thank you. Siobhan, you want to say anything?
Peace out.
Peace out. Deuces.